Like and subscribe to Sinister Shadows Studio, the Enigma of Whispering Pines. My name is Ethan, and I'm here to tell you about a chilling mystery that has haunted Canada for decades. It's a story that has been whispered about in hushed tones, a tale that continues to defy explanation. The small town of Whispering Pines, hidden away in the vast wilderness of British Columbia, is the epicenter of a series of unsolved mysteries that would send shivers down anyone's spine. Nestled in a dense forest, this remote village was founded in the late 1800s by a group of settlers escaping the chaos of the gold rush. The town earned its name from the eerie phenomenon that plagued its residents, the inexplicable sound of whispering in the woods. The origins of these whispers remained a mystery to this day. The whispers began in the dead of night, often heard by the few souls brave enough to venture into the woods. They spoke of unearthly things, of voices that seemed to beckon and torment. Those who ventured too close to the heart of the forest claimed to have seen ghostly figures darting between the trees, their eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light. The bravest among us attempted to record these whispers, but the tapes, when played back, revealed nothing but static and incoherent murmurs. In the late 1970s, the town was gripped by a series of bizarre disappearances. One by one, residents of Whispering Pines vanished without a trace, leaving behind empty houses and shattered families. The authorities were baffled, unable to offer any explanation. The whispers seemed to intensify as if mocking our desperate search for answers. They echoed with a haunting laughter that could chill the soul. Ethan's journal, dated November 12th, 1978. I can't ignore it any longer. My wife Sarah has been acting strangely lately. She insists on walking into the woods at night, saying she hears her name being called. These whisperings have taken hold of her. She doesn't seem like herself anymore. She wanders off into the dark every night, and each morning she returns, her eyes vacant, a haunting smile on her face. I've tried to stop her, to reason with her, but the forest seems to have a hypnotic hold on her. I fear that she will become one of the missing, a victim of this inscrutable nightmare that has gripped our town. Sarah's mysterious obsession wasn't unique. Other residents also succumbed to the lure of the woods, drawn to the whispers that beckoned them deeper into the darkness. The town fell into a state of constant dread as the whispers grew louder, more persistent, like a siren song that no one could resist. But one man, Dr. Samuel Wilcox, a retired psychologist from the city, dared to delve into the mysteries of Whispering Pines. He'd heard about the town's affliction and arrived, convinced that a rational explanation must exist. Dr. Wilcox began conducting experiments in the heart of the forest, attempting to record and analyze the whispers. His notes, dated December 3rd, 1979. The whispers are unlike anything I've ever encountered. They seem to be sentient, responding to questions with eerie accuracy. When I asked, "Who are you?" the reply was unmistakable. "We are the forgotten souls of this place. I must proceed with caution." Dr. Wilcox's experiments yielded little in the way of concrete evidence, but he discovered something more unsettling. The whispers seemed to possess knowledge of Whispering Pines' darkest secrets, revealing long-buried scandals and betrayals that had been hidden for generations. As the revelation spread, trust in the town disintegrated, and residents turned on each other. In 1982, the government intervened, dispatching a team of experts to investigate the enigma of Whispering Pines. The team consisted of scientists, paranormal investigators, and even a renowned exorcist. They camped near the town, armed with state-of-the-art equipment and a conviction that they could banish the malevolent forces responsible for the chaos. Ethan's journal, dated January 10th, 1983. The government experts have been here for weeks, but the whispers have grown more intense. Last night I saw Dr. Wilcox, the man who had come to uncover the truth, being led deeper into the forest by an invisible hand. He appeared as if in a trance, following the eerie lights that danced through the trees. He vanished from my sight, consumed by the darkness. The team's efforts to unravel the town's mysteries proved futile. The whispers mocked their attempts and grew increasingly malevolent, revealing the deepest, darkest secrets of the investigators themselves. The exorcist was driven to madness, proclaiming that the whispers were the voices of tormented spirits trapped in the town. The team, plagued by nightmares and paranoia, left the town in disarray. Over the years, Whispering Pines fell into ruin. It became a forsaken place, abandoned by the world and haunted by its past. Residents who remained lived in fear, the constant whispers a grim reminder of their fragile existence. The whispers, they say, are still there, lurking in the heart of the forest, waiting for anyone who dares to listen. And to this day, the unsolved mysteries of Whispering Pines persist, a chilling reminder that there are forces in this world that will forever elude our understanding. The haunting of Harlingen House. My name is Anna, and I lived a quiet life in a charming Dutch town named Harlingen, known for its picturesque canals and centuries-old buildings. But my peaceful existence was forever shattered when I moved into an old, grand house that was the subject of an unsolved mystery that continues to haunt the Netherlands to this day. It all began when I stumbled upon the house while searching for a place to rent. The building was a magnificent, albeit somewhat dilapidated, structure with towering gables, cobblestone pathways, and windows that looked like eerie, darkened eyes that followed you wherever you went. I fell in love with its antiquated charm, and despite the whispers from the locals about the place being cursed, I decided to make it my new home. Little did I know that the house held secrets far beyond my imagination. The first night in the house was restless. I was awoken by the sound of footsteps echoing through the long, narrow hallway. A shiver ran down my spine as I cautiously ventured out, only to find nothing but darkness and silence. I convinced myself that it was merely my imagination playing tricks on me, that the house was simply settling. But the eerie occurrences persisted. Every night, the footsteps would return, sometimes accompanied by a mournful, echoing melody that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. I could never pinpoint the source of the music, no matter how hard I tried. It was as if the house held its own secrets, and it was determined to keep them. The mystery deepened when I began discovering antique objects scattered throughout the house. Old letters, faded photographs, and strange symbols etched into the floorboards. They all seemed to point to a past that was both fascinating and unsettling. I started researching the history of the house, and what I uncovered sent shivers down my spine. In the late 1800s, the house was owned by a reclusive artist named Elias van der Linde. He was known for his obsession with the macabre, and his paintings often featured grotesque scenes of death and decay. It was rumored that Elias had a fascination with the supernatural, and he would often speak to unseen entities in the middle of the night. One particularly chilling story revolved around the mysterious disappearance of a young girl who had visited the artist's studio. The girl's name was Isabella, and she was last seen entering the house, but she never emerged. Her parents searched frantically, but all they found was one of Elias's paintings, a grotesque depiction of a child surrounded by shadowy figures. Elias was questioned by the authorities, but he claimed to have no knowledge of Isabella's whereabouts. The townspeople, however, were not convinced, and they believed that the artist had made a pact with dark forces to further his sinister art. Despite their suspicions, Isabella's fate remained a mystery, and the case was never solved. As the weeks passed, I became obsessed with uncovering the truth about the house and its connection to Isabella's disappearance. I delved deep into my research, visiting the local archives and speaking with historians who had any knowledge of the enigmatic artist. One rainy afternoon, while I was searching through old records, I stumbled upon a faded letter from Elias to a close friend. The letter spoke of a ritual that the artist had performed in a desperate bid to communicate with the spirit world. In his words, he mentioned the name Isabella and how he believed that the house had imprisoned her spirit. The letter went on to describe the haunting footsteps and ghostly melodies that had tormented the artist. He wrote of shadowy figures that would appear in the dead of night, whispering in a language he couldn't understand. Elias confessed to being terrified and guilt-ridden, believing that he had inadvertently caused Isabella's disappearance by invoking dark forces. My heart raced as I realized the significance of this letter. The mysterious happenings in the house had been going on for well over a century, and I was now certain that they were connected to the artist's obsession with the supernatural. Determined to uncover the truth, I decided to hold a séance within the house, hoping to communicate with Isabella's spirit and finally put an end to the mystery that had plagued Harlingen for so long. As the séance began, the atmosphere within the house grew heavy with anticipation. I lit candles, placed my hands on an antique Ouija board, and called out to Isabella. The room seemed to come alive as a chilling wind swept through, extinguishing the candles one by one. Suddenly, the planchette on the Ouija board began to move, spelling out words in a cold, unsteady hand. "I am here," it said. "Please help me." It was the voice of Isabella, a cry from beyond the grave, seeking release from the haunted house that had held her captive for generations. The séance continued, and Isabella's spirit shared her tragic tale. She had been lured into the house by Elias, who believed that she possessed a unique connection to the spirit world. He had attempted a dark ritual to communicate with the other side, but it had gone horribly wrong, trapping Isabella's soul within the house. As the séance concluded, the house seemed to sigh with relief, its malevolent presence dissipating. Isabella's spirit thanked me, and with a final, ethereal whisper, she vanished into the unknown. The house, once so sinister, gradually returned to a state of serenity. The footsteps, the echoing music, and the haunting objects disappeared, leaving behind a sense of calm that I had never known. The mystery of Harlingen House was finally solved, and Isabella's spirit could rest in peace. But the story of the house remains an unsolved mystery in the Netherlands, a reminder that the past can cast a long and haunting shadow over the present. The silence of Willowbrook. My name is Daniel, and my life was changed forever when I moved to Willowbrook, a small and seemingly peaceful town in the heart of the American Midwest. This is the story of an unsolved mystery that unfolded in this quiet, idyllic place, a story that still haunts me to this day. Willowbrook was the kind of town where everyone knew each other's names. Nestled between rolling hills and surrounded by dense forests, it was a place where life moved slowly, and the days seemed to stretch on endlessly. It was the perfect escape from the hustle and bustle of the city, or so I thought. I first arrived in Willowbrook in the summer of 2018, eager to start fresh after a turbulent period in my life. I found a charming old house on the outskirts of town, away from the center but still close enough to enjoy the serene atmosphere. It was an old two-story building with a white picket fence, and it seemed to radiate a sense of tranquility. But as the sun dipped below the horizon on my first night there, I began to notice that something was amiss. I couldn't hear a single sound. There were no crickets chirping, no distant hum of traffic, not even the rustling of leaves. It was as if the world outside my new home had been enveloped in an eerie, oppressive silence. I decided to investigate the town the following morning to see if my new neighbors could explain the unsettling quiet. But as I walked through the streets, I found no one. It was as though the entire town had vanished overnight, leaving only the houses and the memories of its former inhabitants. My heart raced as I realized the gravity of the situation. The town that had appeared so welcoming only a day earlier was now a ghostly, lifeless place. A shiver ran down my spine, and I rushed back to my house, locking the doors and barricading the windows, all the while wondering if I had walked into a nightmare. I tried to contact the authorities, but my phone had no signal, and there was no dial tone on my landline. Panic began to set in as I realized that I was completely isolated, with no means of reaching the outside world. My mind raced through all the possibilities. An epidemic, a sudden evacuation, or something far more sinister. Over the next few days, I scoured the town for any signs of life. I knocked on doors and shouted for help, but the only response was the haunting echo of my own voice. And then I found a strange symbol painted on a door of one of the houses. A single, intricate eye with an elongated, crimson iris. It was a symbol I had never seen before, and it sent a chill down my spine. As the days turned into weeks, I became obsessed with solving the mystery of Willowbrook. The town's library became my refuge, a place where I searched for any clues about the town's history. I found an old journal belonging to a resident from the 1800s, Sarah O'Connor. Her entries hinted at something dark lurking in Willowbrook, something that had plagued the town for generations. The last entry was chilling. The town, it's all wrong. I see the eye in my dreams, and it's watching, always watching. But Sarah's journal was just the beginning. I uncovered stories of strange occurrences, mysterious disappearances, and bizarre phenomena that had plagued the town for centuries. The people of Willowbrook had lived in fear of the enigmatic eye, a malevolent force that was said to bring a profound, ominous silence whenever it appeared. I couldn't escape the realization that I was now a part of this dark history. I found the symbol of the eye etched into the walls of my own house, and it had begun appearing in my dreams. The nightmares were vivid, filled with straying voices, whispers of despair, and the sensation of being watched. Each night, the eye drew closer until it was right in front of me, its crimson eerie staring into my soul. With each passing day, I descended into madness. The weight of the silence and the ever-present eye was suffocating. I felt like a prisoner in my own home, haunted by the ghosts of Willowbrook's past. The longer I stayed, the stronger the sense of dread became. And I knew that if I didn't uncover the truth soon, I would be lost forever. One fateful evening, as I was flipping through an old history book, I stumbled upon a forgotten legend. It spoke of a ritual that could summon the eye, a forbidden act performed by the town's founders to protect their secrets. The ritual, it was said, required a willing participant to make a blood sacrifice, sealing a pact with the enigmatic eye in exchange for power and protection, the very act that had cursed Willowbrook for generations. With trembling hands, I closed the book and looked around at the darkened room. The eye was watching me, its crimson iris unblinking, as if it knew I had uncovered its dark secret. I was trapped, and the only way to escape the silence that now enveloped me was to confront the eye head-on. Determined, I performed the ritual, knowing that I was risking my life to break the curse that had befallen Willowbrook. As I completed the final incantation, the room filled with an eerie, pulsating energy. The silence that had plagued the town for so long seemed to shatter, and the eye, once all-seeing, began to fade into nothingness. Willowbrook came back to life. The town's residents returned, as if they had never vanished. And the silence that had haunted me for so long was replaced by the sounds of laughter, music, and life. The eye's curse had been broken, and the enigma of Willowbrook was no more. I left the town, never looking back, but the memories of those haunting days still cling to me. I often wonder about the eye, the ancient curse, and the secrets that remain buried beneath the streets of Willowbrook. It's an unsolved mystery that will forever remain etched in my memory. A reminder that even the quietest of places can hide the darkest of secrets. Like and subscribe to Sinister Shadows Studio.